Hello everyone, my name is Bear Killer. Today I'm going to talk about something all disciples should aim for, Christian. So let's just get started. I'm going to take a quote from Harry Potter. I realize Harry Potter is probably desensitizing to evil magic, makes it sound like it's some sort of play toy. Well, I agree with that. I'm just going to use this as an analogy, turn it to something good from the Bible, of what we should really be, our ultimate goal is, and our personal walk with Christ. So let's start. This quote is going to come from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, J.K. Rowling. I'm sure if you either read it or seen the movies, either both or one or the other. Most likely movies, I don't know. A lot of people like me are not like me, where I read books and books and books. I have tons of books. Anyway, so let me quickly explain what the Mirror of Erised is if you don't remember, or you can't remember what it was, or the Mirror of Erised. So Harry was walking around the castle one day. He was looking for something to do, and he looked in this mirror and he saw his family. Then one day, about a day or two later, Ron found him in there. Ron looked in the mirror, said, "Oh look, I see myself as a head boy who's having the house cup." A day later, Dumbledore, on the third day, Dumbledore comes. Dumbledore explains that Mirror of Erised, he quoted, and I quote, and said, "Yes, Harry thought, then he should fully. It shows us what we want whenever we want, ... Yes and no," said Dumbledore quietly. "It shows us nothing more or less than the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts." And goes on to explain more about it. Okay, so that's one quote I have for that. And let's relate this back to the Bible. So, I have 3 references for you. If you want to go ahead and do your homework, so to speak, read up on everything, that's great with me. So, our first reference for today is going to be Galatians 2, verse 20, 19-20. It's always good to read the verses around it and get the audience Paul's talking to. The second reference is going to be Galatians 3, verse 24. Our third reference is going to be another one from Galatians 5, chapter 5, verse 16. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the first one, what it has to do with the Mirror of Erised, etc. So, with that introduction in mind, the Harry Potter introduction, I want you to think of your morning routine. Most of you, or I'm not including myself, I mean I should, shave every day, I try to, but that's personal hygiene. But anyway, I'm sure everyone has their daily routine. They look in the mirror. So what do you see when you look in the mirror? How's it been? If you're, with your walking cars, what's your ultimate goal? What's your most deepest desire of your heart? Well, answer that question. Let's go ahead and look at the first reference. Paul writes, let's start on verse 17. So, this is where Paul opposes Peter. Peter came to Antioch, and Paul talked to him. So, it starts in verse 17. If while we seek to be justified in Christ, it becomes evident that we ourselves are sinners, does that not mean Christ promotes sin? Absolutely not. If I rebuild what I destroyed, I prove that I am a lawmaker. For the law, I died to the law, so that I might live for God. Here's the important verse, verse 20. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Life I live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not set aside the grace of God, for it is righteous we could be gained through the law. I'll read this again, sorry. 21, verse 21. I do not set aside the grace of God, for if righteousness could be gained through the law, Christ died for nothing. So it's important to realize in this verse, it says in verse 20, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Well, what does that mean, your walk with Christ? Well, that should really mean you're walking that Christ should be the one living in you, not the one. You shouldn't be the one dictating your own desires and other things that we want being a Christian, or or if you're just an average person watching this. Okay, so let's go on to the next verse. Chapter 3, verse 23, let's go ahead and read 23 and 24. Before this faith came, we were held prisoners by the law, locked up until faith should be revealed, so the law was put in charge to lead us to Christ, that we might be justified by faith. Now the faith has come. We are no longer under the supervision of the law. So all of us have been what I mean that this verse is talking about is we have our everyday routines, and it's okay. It's just we get in the habit so much every day. If you follow Christ, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You wake up in the morning. You might have work, or me, I have school, college, whatever you're gonna call it. Or if you're you have a kid. Okay, I can't talk. You bring them to school. You might have an appointment that day. If it's Saturday, you might do your fishing, or I don't know. Someone has their daily routines, but we get so wrapped up in ourselves, we forget who we need to be dealing, or who our ultimate goal should be. If you're the person, I know I used to be this person too. If you're the endless tape recorder, so to speak, it just plays over and over and over and over and over. But really, if you're a disciple of Christ, what's your ultimate goal? Is Christ should be living in you. And you look in the mirror. Who do you want to see? Do you want to see yourself, or do you want to see Christ? That's the ultimate question. That's the question you should answer. So, then the last verse, I'll go into a very quick talk about what I think about it. So, Galatians 5, verse 15. So I say, live by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the sinful nature. For the sinful nature desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the sinful nature. They are in conflict with each other, so that you do not do what you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under law. So, when you look in the mirror, who do you really see? Do you just want to see yourselves? There's probably people there that want to see more money. They want to see the, they have these little goals, kind of like New Year's goals. If you make, I know it's kind of not New Year's, but maybe I'll come back in December, or I'm still be doing videos. But when I come to that video in December on New Year's, I'm gonna ask you for today's video. I'm asking you what you want your desire to be. And if your ultimate New Year's resolution to become more Christ-like, and I applaud you. This is what our ultimate goal, disciples, Christ, because of what He's done for us. So that's all I have to say for you guys. Happy Tuesday. God bless. And talk to all. www.happytuesday.com. I'll put that in the video description up here. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. So come in there, have some friendly chat, talk about Bible, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So, it's all cool. Yeah. Happy Tuesday. God bless. See y'all in the chat room. Okay?